For Reaper Metal Productions, I am Adam of Unbaptized Records, making a brand new video for you today. And today is going to be the next part in my series, going over some of my horror movie collection. As I mentioned in the previous video, I know that especially with metal music, there's a lot of overlap of things that we will also have in common besides metal music. Sometimes it's like Worldwide Wrestling or like action figures from the 70s, 80s cartoons, early 90s, stuff like He-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and sometimes video games too, which I'm a huge video game fan, and I'm going to announce soon that I want to do something separate to set my original Layla Lover 90 channel. I'm going to probably do video game related content, so if you do like that kind of stuff, just feel free to go ahead and subscribe to that channel now. I do have some content up. It's very basic. It's just me playing some playthroughs from my Twitch that I uploaded onto YouTube. But I want to do more videos related to video games on that channel. I don't want to pollute this one, but I know a lot of people also like horror movies. That's probably, like, if you were to poll metal fans, the number 2 thing we probably have in common for most people is probably horror movies. So I wanted to go over some, even though it's the middle of February. I feel like it's still fine. It doesn't have to be the Halloween spooky season to like this stuff and to talk about it. So, and I just wanted to mention too, I have a channel membership now. Go ahead and check it out. There's a band t-shirt version for $2. That's just the name of it. And then number 2, I believe, is denim and leather. And number 3, which is the $10 a month, is spikes and bullet belts. And the different different versions have different benefits. So the lowest version, you get a shout out, you get channel badges and everything. Number 2, the $5 a month one, that is, you're going to get exclusive shorts, probably about once a week, and then exclusive videos are going to be once a week or so for those at the top tier. So let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea, and if you want to, go ahead and jump on it because it's live. But I'm going to go through a few movies here, and the first one is a classic. It's an obvious one, needs no real introduction, but it's the Blu-ray of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Again, this is something that I know a lot of metal fans like because, again, if you're a fan of bands like Mortician that use intros that have a lot of their art resembling the movies that they enjoy, clearly this is a big one. I mean, if you look at their second full-length album, Chainsaw Dismemberment, clearly it's a direct relation to this. And I know a lot of other people have either used parts from this movie as like an intro or an inspiration for their songs. And a fun fact about this movie, when I first watched this movie, I actually fell asleep to it. I was a little bit bored, which could just be because of the age of the movie. It's not a bad movie. I think I was just kind of tired. I mean, it's a classic of classics. So I think it was more so just me. It wasn't the movie. But I definitely want to give it another chance, and I haven't seen it since. So this is the first time I would actually be sitting through and watching the whole thing, you know, with undivided attention. So for whatever reason, I didn't make it through the first time. Not sure why, and it's an absolute classic, so really demands that respect, I think. Next is another interesting movie. This one falls in sort of the sci-fi horror comedy, and Robert Englund is in it, which I think is kind of cool. This is the movie Galaxy of Terror. So this is sort of like a little bit of kind of maybe a tribute to Alien in a way. I mean, not necessarily, but it kind of feels like a more quirky Alien, I guess. Really interesting movie. Just definitely recommend checking it out. Again, this is one of those movies that, as I mentioned in the previous video, was like Red Letter Media and The Angry Video Game Nerd are 2 of my huge inspirations for the kind of movies that I know about. And this is a Roger Corman movie, so I know he recently passed away, but he's just in so many movies, including some of his originals, like the Little Shop of Horrors, which I did see, the original version. I have not seen the Rick Moranis remake yet, but the original is just so good, and I think he did that on a bet to shoot in like 48 hours or something, and did, and it's just a fantastic movie, and you know, it's got young Jack Nicholson in it and everything, so this is very much in that vibe. I mean, it's a Roger Corman movie. If you know his movies, you kind of know what you're expecting with this, so. Next is probably one of the most unique movies I have in this list because it is literally an amalgamation of 2 different movies. So it was one movie filmed, they did not get enough film to make it like a full-length movie, so they filmed a second movie and sort of unseamlessly integrated them together, and that is a movie called Spookies. So it has essentially two different plot lines. One is one that makes absolutely no sense. A bunch of teenagers are drinking at a party, they get kicked out, they're driving away, and they end up on this abandoned road, and they find an old abandoned house, and they just decide to party in there. And then break out a Ouija board, then one of their friends gets possessed, and then people start getting taken out. So it's a very weird, kind of dumb premise, like who's just going to break into a house? Guess, it's sort of like the generic teenager horror movie. But some of the creatures in this movie, that's probably the best part. The creatures, they have these zombies that come out from the basement, and they fart. That's what they do. It's very goofy. At one point, the people fight death, and when they kill death, he explodes. And then the other half is about a sort of zombie, or no, more of like a vampire guy. So you have the zombies in the basement, and then a vampire guy who's running the whole show with like a werewolf assistant, and he's trying to bring his wife back to life, and his wife hates him, and he has to kill everyone in the mansion in order to bring her back to life, but she doesn't like him, and it's just really stupid. But I would say watch this if you're willing to watch a really bad movie with some occasional good effects. Like, I would say the best effect is the lady who turns into a spider. So if you know, then you know what I'm talking about. This movie is one, though, I highly recommend. I bring it up anytime I get the chance to, and this is Evil Ed. It's a very unique movie about a man who edits movies for a living. He starts out in just a regular department, editing just regular dramatic movies, nothing interesting, nothing special. And then he is brought to the horror movie department in a very unique way because one of the only other editors does something very dramatic in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Again, if you know, you know. If you don't, go watch it. It sets the scene for the rest of the movie. And basically, the directors of these movies gives Ed here a cabin in the woods. It's his cabin to just go there and just have no distractions to edit his movies, where it's like a slasher movie scene. There's just a bunch of different ones, and they're all like just really stupid. And he just starts to go crazy. He sees things. He sees things in his fridge. He sees a demon in the basement. He ends up going nuts and doing some horrible things, but his descent into madness is your entertainment, and that is the movie Evil Ed. I highly recommend it. It is fantastic. If that description doesn't give you enough reason to want to watch it, there are just certain scenes, like, I can't even describe. I'm not even going to say, but they're great. So, last but not least, here is the 7-movie, really hefty, Blu-ray compilation here of the Tremors movies. I have only seen the first one so far, but the cool thing with this, for whatever it's worth, was it came with like a digital download code, which I'm not going to show off, but I did already use it. So you go to some website that just kind of has all these, and I think even YouTube is linked to it as well. So now all 7 of the movies that are here, I can watch digitally or with the Blu-ray copy. And I think I got this off Amazon fairly cheap, but 1 or 2 movies per. I've seen the first one so far. I thought it was pretty good. Apparently Kevin Bacon back in the day actually was not happy about this movie. He thought it was going to be a career killer. And then when he realized it was actually a pretty good movie later on, he ended up liking it a little bit more. And now he's much happier with it. But I understand that at first he thought it was going to kill his career. And it ended up being more so a cult classic. So if you're familiar with the Tremors movies and you want to see the other ones, definitely recommend picking this up. Blu-ray, 7 movies, pretty thick, wasn't super expensive, and again, brand new, came with the digital code as well, so that's pretty convenient. So I have about another stack here of movies, Blu-rays, and then a whole stack of DVDs to go over, so I will see you in the next video.